online class with me, Nusrat Alam, lecturer in English, Milestone College. How are you all, my dear students? I believe you all are fine and very busy with your studies right now. My today's online class is on how are we going to change narrative style. That means my today's class's topic is narration. We find it in English second paper, question number 5, and total marks is also 5. First of all, let us see a small video clip on a teacher and student's conversation. And then I will tell you what is called narration, how many ways of changing narrative styles, and how can we change them.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you today?
We are fine, thank you.
I'm happy to hear that. It's so great to see you again.
In this video, we could see that a teacher entered the classroom and started a conversation with the students by exchanging greetings. And whatever all the sentences or words these people used are called narration. And there are two ways of conveying or reporting these speeches or the words they exchanged between each other. We can convey or report these messages or these conversation directly and indirectly. If we want to convey or report the conversation or the words these people exchanged in a direct way, we should talk in this way. Entering the classroom, the teacher said, "Good morning, everyone." The students said, "Good morning, teacher." This is called direct narration because what are we doing here? Whatever the teacher and the students said, we just copied their lines. Well, direct narration has two parts, reporting verb and reported speech. The teacher said is considered reporting verb, and whatever that teacher said, that is called reported speech. Reported speech is kept inside an inverted comma while writing. We can also convey or report this conversation indirectly or into indirect narration. How should we do that? In direct speech, the dialogue or the speech was, entering the classroom, the teacher said, "Good morning, everyone." Into indirect narration, we should tell the same sentence like this. Entering the classroom, the teacher wished good morning to the students or to everyone. In your exam, you will find one passage and you might find there is a conversation between two persons or only one person could say all the lines. And what you have to do, if you find the passage written in direct narration, you have to change it into indirect narration. And if it is given in indirect narration narrative style, then we have to change it into direct narrative style. How are we going to do that? There are lots of rules of changing narrative styles. First of all, we have to find out who are the speaker of the dialogue or the given passage. Then, when we are going to change them from direct to indirect, we have to follow certain rules. The tense of the speech gets changed. And how do they get changed? Here is the chart. If the given text is in present indefinite, we have to change it into past indefinite. If it is in present continuous, we change it into past continuous. Similarly, the other sentences or tenses follow the chart that is given over here. Not only that, the modal auxiliaries are also changed according to the chart. To make the idea clear of changing narrative style, today we are going to practice two narrations and we will change them from direct narration to indirect and indirect narration to direct narration. First of all, we will attempt one passage which is written in direct narration. This passage is quoted from a short story called Lottery.
The first exercise that we are going to practice today first has been taken from Nabodut HSC test papers. Special model question number 102, question number 5, and total marks is also 5. Let us read the text first. And from this text, we can easily understand it has been written in direct form. As you can see that, "Be a good sport, Tessie." This part is written into an inverted comma And then we have the speaker, name of the speaker, which is called the reporting verb. And the speech here is called reported speech. And what we have to do, we have to change the narrative style from direct to indirect. So now let's read it carefully, and then we will change them from direct to indirect according to the tense. And this part, as I told you already earlier, this dialogue or this conversation has been taken from a short story which is called Lottery. And the situation is the announcement of the lottery winner is going to be announced. Here we can see, be a good sport, Tessie. Mrs. Delacroix called and Tessie said, all of us took the same chance. Here we can see that how many speakers are over here. We have already found that Delacroix, Mrs. Delacroix and Tessie are having a discussion or conversation. Shut up, Tessie, Bill Hutchinson said. Here is another speaker, Bill Hutchinson, who's the husband of Tessie. Well, everyone, that was done pretty fast, Mr. Summers said. Another one, Mr. Summer, who is going to make the announcement of the lottery winner. And now we have got to be hurrying a little more to get done in time. That means they wanted to finish this task or the announcement and the task that they were going to perform after this announcement. They wanted to finish it before lunch hour. So we are going to change them now from direct to indirect. But before that, let me remind you of the changes that is going to happen according to the tenses. This chart, in this left side, we have the name of the tense that we are going to find in direct speech. And if we find them in direct speeches, how are they going to be changed into indirect? For example, present simple is going to be changed into past simple, present continuous into past continuous, past simple into past perfect, past continuous into past perfect continuous. Present perfect will be changed into past perfect, and past perfect and past perfect continuous will be unchanged. Now let's change them one by one, sentence to sentence. The first sentence says, be a good sport, Tessie. Inside the inverted comma, if you find that somebody is uttering someone's name, that the person they are talking to, you should keep in your mind that while you are changing them into indirect, we have to mention that the speaker called the other person by their name or they addressed them. So we should mention it in this way. First of all, we will mention the name of the speaker. Who's the speaker? Mrs. Delacroix. So Mrs. Delacroix, what she did, she called Tessie. So she called Tessie, and what she did, by saying this line, be a good sport, as this is an imperative sentence, be a good sport, Mrs. Delacroix is asking her or advising her to be a good sport. So we should change it into this way, and advised her, who's that? Tessie, to be a good sport. Then, in reply, Tessie also said something. Tessie said, all of us took the same chance. So we can mention this phrase or this term in reply. Tessie said that. Here we have to use that because this was an assertive sentence. We don't use normally that for imperative sentence unless there is let us. Other than that, imperative sentences don't take that with them. But all of us took the same chance as it was an assertive one, so we have to use this term that. So Tessie said that all of them had taken the same chance. All of them took the same chance. This sentence was written in past indefinite tense, so we have changed it into past perfect tense. And here I want to show you this subject. How did it change? All of us, this pronoun has been changed into them. Let us move on to the next one. Shut up, Tessie, Bill Hutchinson said. Bill Hutchinson was the husband of Tessie, and he was a bit tensed because the after effect of lottery winning is not a pleasant experience in this story, because the person whose name will come up in the lottery, they will be stoned to death. So Bill Hutchinson disliked their conversation, so he actually scolded Tessie by telling shut up. So as he scolded her or he shouted on her, we can mention this term telling off Tessie. Telling off means when you are scolding the other person. Bill Hutchinson ordered her to shut up. By telling shut up, he ordered her actually. So we used the term ordered her to shut up. Next sentence says, well, everyone, that was done pretty fast, Mr. Summers said. Here, well, everyone, by using these two words, Mr. Summer actually drew the attention of the audience or the people, those who were around. So you might be thinking, how are we going to change this word, well, everyone? So we don't need to change it in directly. Rather, we can tell that at that, Mr. Summer, drawing the attention of everyone, said, as he drew their attention by telling that, so we should change it into this way. And what he said, that was done pretty fast. We have already used this word that. So what are we going to do with this one? That was done pretty fast. Let me tell you, we cannot use to that, or we cannot repeat the word that. So we have to change this one into it. This that has become it. It had been done pretty fast. That was done pretty fast was written into past indefinite tense. So we have changed it into past perfect. Had plus been plus done. As it was written in passive voice, that's why we have also kept it into passive voice. And now we have got to be hurrying a little more to get done in time. This person, Mr. Summer, told another sentence. So here we should add the next sentence in this way, and added that when one speaker simultaneously speaks more than one sentence, we should add them in this way. Added that, or again said that, we have to use these kind of terms. Added that, then they had got to be hurrying a little more to get done in time. We have got to be hurrying. We have got. So this part indicates that this sentence is written into present perfect tense, which should be changed into past perfect. That's why we have used had plus V3 form of the verb, and then the extension part of the sentence. And in this sentence, you can see we had now. What we have done with this word, now has become then. And according to the rule, it has been changed into this way. My dear students, this is how this narration or passage narration is finally going to look like. You have to write it in one passage, in one para, in your exam copy. Write on the top answer to the question number 5, and then write the passage in this way.
My dear students, I believe you could understand how we changed this direct narration to indirect one. Now we are going to attempt another passage which is written in indirect speech. And I will change them from indirect to direct, and each and every line or word, what are the rules they are following while being changed into direct narration. I will be keep telling that also.
So the next question or the item that we are going to solve, it has also been taken to the same test paper, Nabodut HSC test papers, special model question number 98, question number 5, total marks 5. And here we can see that the conversation between a teacher and a student. But this part or this passage is written into indirect speech, and we have two speakers that I have highlighted. So what we have to do, we have to change the narrative style using direct speeches. It is written into indirect. We have to change it into direct speech. So let's read it first carefully. The teacher inquired of the student where he was from. He replied that he was from Japan. He further inquired, he means the teacher. Further inquired how he had found Cambridge when he had arrived first. He replied, he means student, replied that he liked it there and opined that the city was beautiful. The teacher said that he was welcomed there. So now let's move on and let me show you the chart again so that you don't make any mistake. The first line that was said by the teacher inquired of the student where he was from. The teacher actually inquired, that means wanted to know. So the teacher must have made some question. Though the sentence here is written into assertive form, but we have to change it into interrogative because the teacher inquired. So teacher made a question. So we should make this speech into an interrogative one. And what about the reporting verb? In reporting verb, we have to mention the name of the subject, the speaker, and then the verb said would be enough to use. So here, the teacher said, where are you from? Where he was from has become, where are you from? Because the teacher was talking to the student directly. That's why he has used you. Now, what the student replied? He replied that he was from Japan. Here, he replied, we don't need to use, it's not mandatory that you have to use the term replied. We can only use said and that would be enough. And what he said? He was from Japan. So when the student is talking, we should not use he. He must have said, I am from Japan, right? So he was from Japan. Here it is in past indefinite tense. So definitely for making it a direct speech, we should change it into simple present tense. I'm from Japan. It means I am from Japan, said the student. He further inquired, he means teacher, further inquired how he, here he means the student, how he had found Cambridge when he had arrived first. Here, this sentence might make you a little bit confused that there are two sentences. This teacher has said. Now, one is he had found, which is written into past perfect tense, and another one he had arrived first. So, this past perfect tense into indirect can be changed into three different tenses. If you can remember the chart, then past perfect tense can become past indefinite tense, present perfect tense, or past perfect tense. So how should we change that? Well, let me tell you. We have a connector here which is when. And when is such kind of connector who connects to similar kind of tenses. That means we can use past indefinite tense in both places. We don't need to use past perfect tense at all when they are talking in person, because if we use past perfect tense in direct speech, one sentence has to be into past indefinite tense. So there is no necessity of doing that because we have when. So we can take past indefinite tense for both of them. So he further inquired. That means for reporting verb, we can only use he said, and how he had found. This one should be changed into present indefinite tense like this. How did you find Cambridge? How did you find Cambridge when? Here this line is written into present past indefinite tense, so the next one should be also into past indefinite. When you arrived first. So the second one is not a question, but as the first sentence is a question, that's why we have used the invert question mark over here. So when you arrived first, said the teacher. In reply, the student said, he replied that he liked it there and opined that the city was beautiful. Opined is used, or opined means to give opinion. According to his opinion, the city was beautiful. When we are placing our own opinion, then we use this term. So he replied that. So instead of he replied that, we should use only he said. And then he liked it. He liked it is written into past indefinite. So we should just change it into present indefinite tense, just like this. I like it here. I like it here. Why here? Because we have there over here. There has been changed into here according to the rule. And as we had opined, so we have used this term I think. Here the student is actually placing his own idea or own view. He thought that the city was beautiful. That's why we should use I think the city is beautiful, said the student. So after this answer, what the teacher said? The teacher said that he was welcomed there. So we should change it. He was welcomed into a simple present tense. It should be changed into this way. You are welcome. You are welcome here. We had there over here. And there should be changed into here. And then we have say to the teacher. That is the end of our this passage or narrative change of narrative style. I believe, my dear students, you have understood what are the rules that I followed over here and how did they change. And finally, we are going to present our narration in this way, in a whole passage form. You're going to write it in this way, putting the punctuation marks appropriately and using capitalized form whenever it is needed. As you can see that after the reporting verb, we have to put a comma, and when the speech starts, we have to start the inverted comma as well. Keep the whole speech inside an inverted comma. And this inverted comma is going to show that the speaker has been changed into the next sentence. So, my dear students, please be very careful using punctuation marks here also.
My dear students, did you understand how did we change this? I believe you did. So how are you going to attempt this item in your exam? Write answer to the question number on the top of your copy and just change them into the directed narrative style. And be very careful about the use of punctuations in your passage. So my dear students, with the hope of your better health and better education, I'm going to end up my today's class here. See you some other time with some other topic. Till then, bye-bye.